This is the best moments of the BBQ Central show in 10 minutes or less. Ever wish you could re-listen to your favorite interview or segment? Do you enjoy hearing older shows for the first time in years? Then the best moments of the BBQ Central show in 10 minutes or less is just what you need. Thanks for listening and enjoy the show.
Hello, John Solberg here, your host for the best moments of the BBQ Central show in 10 minutes or less. And I've got something to tell you. This episode is being brought to you by The Butcher Shop, purveyors of highly sought after 100% Australian non-crossbred Waivara 9 Plus briskets, and as always, handpicked just for you. The Butcher Shop has been retailing the finest meats for the past 15 years. Every week, they are shipping out competition-quality meats to many of the biggest teams in the competition scene across the nation. Simply put, teams who use The Butcher Shop win, and they win often. So you're not a competitor, but you still have an eye for the finer cuts in life? Not a problem. The Butcher Shop is shipping some of the finest prime, dry-aged Australian Wagyu and Japanese Wagyu steaks to people just like you and me who aspire to be the kings and queens of their cul-de-sacs. The Butcher Shop always has Berkshire, Compart Duroc, Allegiance Duroc, and Prairie Fresh all-natural pork in stock. And again, always handpicked just for you. Now you might be saying, John, all that sounds great, but what about some exotic stuff? Rest easy knowing the Butcher Shop can get you your next elk steak or camel roast. They're going to ship it out promptly. Yes, I did say camel. Let's review the best competition briskets. Check. The best pork selection. Check. Giving you better overall options to cook in the backyard. Check. So give the Butcher Shop a call today. 850-458-8782. That's 850-458-8782. Mention the BBQ Central show for 10% off your order each and every time. You can also get a hold of them over on Facebook, facebook.com/The Butcher Shop. The Butcher Shop, home of the 100% Australian non-crossbred Waivara 9 Plus briskets. And here's what's going on in today's show. We're going to take a little trip back to October 16th in 2012, and Greg's going to catch up with MMA's Mike McCloud.
Joining me, my first guest for the second hour. You can find him as president and CEO of MMA Creative, the branding partner of KCBS. And we're going to talk to him about the Sam's Club final and some other stuff. Let's race over the hotline and grab him up. Friend of the show, Mike McCloud, joining me here. Mike, how are you, bud?
Hey, Greg. How are you? I'm great.
Good. Absolutely fabulous, and I appreciate you taking time to join me tonight, Mike. Any feedback on your end or anything like that that's going on right now?
There's a little bit, but I think I can hear you just fine.
All right, so we'll go. You want me to try and call you back and correct it?
No. Let's rock and roll.
All right, rocking and rolling, as it were. Mike McCloud joining me here on the show, president and CEO of MMA Creative. Just this past weekend, Bentonville, Arkansas, saw the Sam's Club finals take place, second year in a row. Justin McGlawn was just joining me, kind of recapping as a cook's perspective what it was like for him at the finals, at the regionals, at the locals. But as someone who was integral in getting with Sam's and helping KCBS kind of get this whole thing together in a partnership and now what is a barbecue series, how do you find it coming into 2012 as it ends? Things that maybe could have been better, things that maybe exceeded expectations, and, of course, what are you looking at 2013?
I hope the previous report was positive. I just got into the condo, so I wasn't able to hear it. But from our perspective, organizer perspective, marketing perspective, it was another success. If we built on the success of the first year, Sam's Club has embraced barbecue in a way that no other corporate citizen ever has. They've brought other corporate players to the table, which we fully expected and appreciated. We were able to give away $500,000 to the series. I'm not sure I should go much further than that because that's one of the biggest impacts we've ever seen in barbecue over the last 7-8 years, or maybe 25, 30 years before my time. But they truly have helped us move the needle from recognition. One of the mission points of KCBS is to make barbecue America's cuisine. And through the power of Sam's Club, Tyson, Kingsford, Coca-Cola, the companies that they associate with and lean on to help deliver that series, we've been able to raise the bar, I believe, for the barbecue industry in general, which means that it has helped the competitors. It has helped the industry. It's helped raise awareness for membership. It's raised scholarship dollars beyond belief. So, and it's just propelled our ship right now. So I feel pretty good about it.
I went to the Canton, Ohio local qualifier, which saw Munchin Hogs at the Hilton taking a reserve grand on that, Squealer's Barbecue winning. But that's only, an hour and change away from my house. And I guess being able to go down and see it, for me, it's unique in the fact that, I talk to a number of these pitmasters every Tuesday, but I don't get to see them face to face. I got to visit with the current reigning KCBS Team of the Year in Robert McGee and Munchin Hogs at the Hilton, and a number of other teams that I've either seen finish high in the rankings or maybe not so high in the rankings, but just kind of follow them along because this is what we do for the show, and finally get to shake hands. Here's the thing that I thought was unique. When I'm driving down, I'm like, God, I hope it's not set in some field. There's going to be mud and muck and mire and all this other stuff. And I'm like, well, what the hell are you talking about, Rempy? This is going to be in a Sam's Club parking lot. I mean, they're at the facility. You could go shop if you wanted to. These are clean, well-run events from local to regional all the way down to the finals. What kind of a process is it when you're talking to Sam's about where these are going to be, what's expected of them as a store or a corporation or as a partner, and how does that whole thing unfold for you guys?
Well, it unfolds with a lot of work, a lot of preparation, a lot of planning on our part and with KCBS. Sam's has been very cooperative and very supportive of the overall series and trying to make sure that we do a first-class operation, first-class contest at every one of their stores. Not only does it reflect on KCBS and barbecue in general, but it reflects on Sam's Club. So we worked with them early on. In fact, planning has already begun for 2013 to look at the geographical regions that we want to hit next year, and we looked at the existing landscape of competitions to try not to cannibalize or hurt existing competitions that are very sensitive to that. It's not always possible, but there's going to be an impact here and there, we know. But Sam's is about doing a first-class operation, so we have to, as an organization, KCBS and MMA Creative, as its agency of record, we have to make sure we live up to their standards. And it is a constant year-round, 12-month planning and logistics and implementation strategy. And we couldn't make it possible if it weren't for hundreds of volunteers, the great KCBS staff, Troy Black, who's our series tour director, and then an incredible staff that I have at MMA Creative.
Mike McCloud joining me here on the show, President and CEO of MMA Creative. He's just referenced MMAcreative.com, by the way, is the website if you want to check them out. Maybe need somebody to give you a little promotion or rep you in the right way. Next year for the Sam's Club, is it, as you're looking at areas, and I know you said you don't want to cannibalize some other long-standing barbecue competitions, because obviously I think the last time you were on we actually talked about, some of the blowback was from some event coordinators that said, hey, I've always been here on this weekend, blah, 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 and all of a sudden Sam's shows up and takes a lot of my teams. You're going to run into that regardless. This is barbecue becoming more and more popular. Do you find yourself looking at specific big Sam's Club regions or traditional barbecue regions as you're looking into that, or what goes into that planning of where do we want to hold these Sam's Club events?
The short version of that is there's about 4 layers of consideration. First is Sam's areas of emphasis that they want to help. They have a large club that they want to move the needle a little bit stronger on, or they have a new club that they want to give a boost to. Then you've got sponsorship interests. Sponsors are helping underwrite this and pay the tab at the end of the day, because Sam's can't pay all of it by themselves. And then we have KCBS existing competitions that we try not to cannibalize the week before, a couple of weeks before, or within 150-mile radius. The KCBS board does a great job, in my opinion, of looking at density and scope and logistical composition of contests. It becomes more and more of a challenge every year for KCBS to do this, regardless of Sam's. There's 425 some odd contests, coast to coast, border to border, year in, year out. You have 52 weekends. So there's going to be complex, no matter what, no matter how you look at it. And what we try to do with Sam's when they try to plan their 30 contests plus 1 national championship is make sure that we are having a minimal impact on contests that have been around for a long time. So is there going to be some impact here and there? Yes. is a contest that usually gets 35 competitors, maybe lose 3 or 4 because 3 or 4 want to compete that weekend 150, 200 miles away? Yes. Are we willing to accept that as a little bit of a loss to move the industry forward? The answer to that is yes, too.
Mike McCloud joining me here on the show. Mike, you mentioned the number of contests. One of the things that I wonder about is you have a local qualifier that also gets you points to KCBS Team of the Year. So there were some teams that were just going to take place in that local KCBS qualifier. Whether they finished in that top 6 to move on to the regional was really insignificant to them. They just wanted the points. Is there a way, or has there been any talk about giving Team of the Year points to KCBS teams that are there, that are moving on to a regional or a finals round, or is that just something that can't feasibly happen because if you're not moving on, all teams just can't enter in?
One of the most important barbecue competition series in the history of competition barbecue. Meteoric rise, epic fall and crash, super loved, super hated. The only place that the entire history of the Sam's Club series has been captured is right here on the BBQ Central show. I guarantee you, when historians in barbecue search back to find out what happened in Sam's Club, their number one source is going to be the BBQ Central show. That said, head over to the BBQCentralShow.com. Listen to the rest of this episode. There's a link in today's show notes going to take you right there. Thanks so much for listening. Until next time on the best moments of the BBQ Central show in 10 minutes or less, I am your host, John Solberg. I look forward to talking to you again soon.